Доброго дня, шановні колеги.
Dear colleagues, first of all, I would like to greet you on the occasion of the Journalists' Day, and we have some noisy event next door, but I don't think this will interfere with our briefing provided by Speaker of the Presidential Administration on ATO issues. He will discuss the developments of yesterday. Good morning, good afternoon, dear colleagues. Many happy returns of the day. The provocations and shelling and firing continue. In particular, we have more often use of heavy artillery, heavy metal from 120 millimeter mortars and 122 millimeter cannons, and the anti-aircraft volley fire units. And the developments of yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. At Mariupol, near Shirokina, we have the hottest area of the conflict. The militants once committed an artillery shelling and also continued provocation with small weapons and grenade launchers. At Donetsk, at the airport, the combat was raging. Heavy artillery, heavy weaponry was mostly used by the militants with 120 millimeter mortars and 122 millimeter artillery that was inflicted at the Ukrainian positions at Pisky, Opetne, Krasnogorivka, Mayanbutovka, and Lozove. In addition to that, the adversary used armored vehicle and 3 times anti-missile system of volley fire grad at Granitny, Staronativka, and Luhansk settlement. And the Ukrainian bodyguards with dignity repelled all the provocation of militants who in their turn used the anti-tank guided missiles, mortars and small weapons at Mariinka road post, and also mortars and mobile artillery units at road post Brezove at Luhansk. Militants activated their operations at Shastya, Donetsk, and Zhelobok using 120 millimeter mortars, and also they registered use of anti-aircraft units at Zolote and Krymsk. According to information, the State Bodyguard Service yesterday, 47 flights of adversary drones were registered in the area of anti-terrorist operation. Yesterday we lost one military officer, 10 were wounded. The Russian Federation and its mercenaries continue arrogant information aggression against Ukraine to discredit the armed forces on Ukraine and to cover for their own failure at Mariinka. In the course of fighting in Mariinka in Donetsk Oblast on the 3rd and 4th of June, they wounded and took prisoner the 28th Mechanized Guard Brigade officer Roman Marchenko, who is now in Donetsk, and under pressure of militants and with threat of torture, at the so-called press conference in presence of the Russian TV channels, he had to make some statements about developments at Mariinka during the 3rd and the 4th of June. That continue the lies of the Russian and terrorist media. The information that was voiced by Roman Marchenko is not truthful and was issued under pressure, and tortures and torture of hostages is severely in breach with the Geneva Convention. Ukraine is calling upon all the necessary medical aid for Roman Marchenko and access to him for the international organizations, and in particular the special monitoring mission of OECD in Ukraine. I would like to remind you that on the 3rd of June at Mariinka we had the biggest confrontation for the period of recent month between our ATO forces and militants of so-called Donetsk People's Republics as a result of concerted action of the Ukrainian military officers and operational command of the ATO staff. The adversary had high casualties and loss of machinery. 13 subversives were caught, one of them national of the Russian Federation. In OSCE, they confirmed that shelling was started by the militants in breach of Minsk Accords. All the attempts to distort the picture of the actual events at Martinka were confirmed by the emissary of the United Kingdom at the United Nations, Matthew Raincroft, who stated that the Russia-supported militants provoked the response from Ukraine, but all the world are aware of the fact that Russia is the main party to be blamed for the developments in the east of Ukraine, with the devastation recently at Shastia. The anti-terrorist operation forces identified as American reconnaissance group and dismissed and destroyed it. The militant dropped the Shmel fire launchers. This kind of weaponry is used by the Russian Federation alone, and then the foodstuff packages, medical kits, and articles of equipment. The channels of funding for the militants are being cut off. Three electronic purses were blocked by the Security Service of Ukraine. The purses were used to provide funding for the militants in the east. This is not the first special operation, so the wrongdoers are trying to be very careful not to attract attention of the competent bodies. In the course of well-arranged cooperation, the electronic purse were presented to the payment system that immediately blocked servicing of such accounts. In Konstantinka district, Donetsk Oblast, our police officers and bodyguards found and seized 6 grenade mortars, 48 grenades for the 5 F1 grenades, and 85 pieces of ammunition for the submachine guns. The clandestine hiding place should be attributed to the remnants of the band formations of the Donetsk People's Republic that were expelled from there last summer. Ukrainian military officers are always there for the peaceful civilians. Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, Lieutenant Mikhail Mikotin and senior soldiers Serhiy Slobodyan and Anton Novikov caught a robber who mugged a lady. They witnessed the event and they immediately seized the recidivists. They were presented with the certificates of appreciation. Military engineers who served for the National Guard had another training. These professionals improved their skills in engineer reconnaissance, disguising of the position, and equipment management of the position, and also destruction of the mines and destruction of the mine, also training on the fortification equipment for the road post, and installment of the engineer fans for the temporary encampment to test the fortification. They used the control explosion, one of the artillery units of the Marine Force had marched to the area of concentration and then fired in the course of training. In the course of the exercise, they also moved and deployed units at the reserve positions with further fire exercises. They also used warships and Marines for that. And also there was a special special operation and mission for the National Guards, who will receive experience from the people who preceded them in that service. These were police officers from Ternopil. If you have no questions, we would like to thank Colonel, and we would like to congratulate you on the occasion of the General's Day.